going to
Nie, to nie ma.
share. Oh, hail the glad new year. Oh, sing it loud and clear, rejoicing. Then loud the carols ring, and glad the children sing, and with clear and sweetly voicing. Good is the Christmas tune, already loud for good saints near, who on his donkey strong and sweet comes to bring us the joys to good little girls and boys. If each child is good, in the shoes he'll put a doll or a ball, that children get no toy at all. Only they find the playground with. Will these shoes hold a doll for?
Okay, I'm gonna have to order him from Monday.